We're going to do 60 seconds for opening statements here. Our web editor, Molly, is going to spotlight you. So when you're talking, you'll pop up on the screen here. And we are going to start with Angela Washington. We will start timing when you start talking. So go ahead with your opening statement.
Good evening. My name is Angela Washington. I have been a resident of Chatham County for 28 years and a small business owner for 24 years. I'm running to be your 5th District County Commissioner because I want to bring much needed resources to our much neglected 5th District. We are the only district without a library, one of 2 districts without a police precinct or substation. We only have 2 county provided neighborhood parks and no county provided community centers in unincorporated 5th. I also want to do what I can to ensure that citizens of Chatham County benefit from our growth that has taken place through fairly awarding county contracts and ensuring that Chatham County residents are hired to work on the many construction projects that the county has. I'm also looking at additional revenue sources to fund programs for our youth and our seniors and for much needed resources throughout this Chatham County. Thank you for this evening. Thank you for this event, and I'm looking forward to it.
Ms. Washington, thank you. Next, we will hear from Florence Glover. 60 seconds to you.
Hello, everyone, and I hope everyone's staying safe out there during this pandemic. My name is Florence Glover, and I'm running for the 5th District Commissioner of Chatham County. I am a retired lieutenant, correction, I must say this correctly. I'm a retired honorary captain, I have to get that title, honorary captain with the Chatham County Police Department, serving 25 years of service. Married 15 years. Me and my husband share 3 daughters and 3 lovely, energetic grandchildren. I am a product of Chatham County school system and retired in 2007. And I was a part of the merger that happened in 2005. And that was one of the deciding factors that made me want to retire a little bit earlier than that. My segment on the police department, I was able to serve the community for 25 years in a capacity as a lieutenant on the Marine Patrol. Also did school resource officer. I was a DARE officer. Also did midnight lieutenant.
That is your time, Ms. Glover. Thank you. I will have to be sort of rude and abrupt when I cut you all off because we're on a time crunch here. We're trying to keep this train moving. Thank you, Ms. Glover. And now we will go on to Tanya Milton.
Again, you're unmuted. So I am Tanya Milton. I am your candidate for the 5th District County Commissioner. I grew up and attended Chatham County Public Schools here. I attended Florence Business College in Atlanta. I have 2 adult daughters, and I have worked in the newspaper industry most of my adult life. Currently, I am the Vice President and Advertising Director of the Savannah Tribune, which is the oldest continuous publishing African-American publication in the country. This job has allowed me to be involved in many aspects of the community, social, civic, church, nonprofits, and it has also allowed me to be in touch with my community. I'm there all the time, I'm out everywhere, and I'm here to serve the people.
All right, Tanya Milton, thank you for those remarks. Now we will move on to the incumbent in District 5, Tabitha Odell.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me this evening. I am your current 5th District County Commissioner, and I have been a citizen of this district for the last 27 years. I'm a small business owner, and I have proudly served you and look forward to continuing to serve you for another term.
Tabitha Odell, thank you for those opening remarks. Now we will hear from Yusef Shabazz, former commissioner.
Yes, good evening, and thank you for allowing us to come before the public. My name is Yusef Shabazz. I'm a lifelong resident of the 5th District. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a small business owner. I'm a pillar of this community. I'm a graduate of Savannah State University with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering with a minor in Applied Sciences and Mathematics. I raised children. I love this district. And I love this district so much I wanted to raise my children in this district, and I did. I'm experienced. I've been there before. I'm one that can hit the ground running from day one. I have a plan and agenda for this district. I plan on agenda for this district. I'm independent. I'm not bought nor sold. I'm an independent person. I'm an independent thinker, and I can hold this job and I can do this job, and I can get the job going, and I can hit the ground running. Thank you.
Mr. Shabazz, thank you. If you would, we're going to move on to the first question here. Maybe just test your microphone a little bit. We can hear you. It's a little crackly. If you can do something to work on that. I mean, I don't know if any of us knows about the technical side of this, but anyway, I just want to let you know there's a little crackling there. Now over to Tina for the first question.
All right, the first question for all of you tonight is name an issue affecting your district that you believe must be a priority once you take office and how you would address that issue. We will begin with incumbent Tabitha Odell. Since you're already County Commission in District 5, what is or are some of the issues, you only have about 60 seconds to answer the question, but issues that are affecting your district that you'd like to see improved?
Well, one of the most important issues in the unincorporated 5th district that I have addressed is drainage and health and wellness issues. We have, thanks to SPLOST, allocated $21 million to repair drainage issues in our district, and those scheduled repairs are scheduled and will take place in the coming time. We're also established a county blueprint that we're working toward, and we are installing bike trails, walking paths. We're looking at community gardens and inventive ways to address mosquito control, which is something that affects all of us because of health issues with transmittable diseases from mosquitoes.
Thank you very much. Next, we will go to Tanya Milton.
There are many issues that I would like to engage in the community. My first priority, once I'm elected, will be the infrastructure, specifically stormwater management within the 5th district. Drainage is a constant pain point for the community, for the communities of the District 5, and we need to find a solution to this problem by developing an infrastructure that addresses this problem. I also want to implement multi-purpose lanes for walking, biking, and work on paving schedules for county roads. In the future, I'm implementing a rotation wherein I'm talking to the constituents to find out exactly what their concerns are. But that's my first issue.
Thank you. Now we head to Florence Glover. Tell us what your issues are affecting the district that you'd like to see changed.
Okay, what I like to see change, first of all, the 5th district is a huge district, and we already have several issues that need to be addressed, such as the drainage as well. But I like to work on blight in the district because some parts of this district look underserved. They're not getting what they need as far as the cleanup that needs to happen, both by the city and the county. Now, as the 5th district commissioner, I like to work with the city council partners and address the issues of the beautification and clean up these districts. I am a field person. I like to be out in the field. And 2 weeks ago, I might have visited maybe about 7 different ditches that was just cluttered and clustered with trash and debris. And so far, calling, the city and the county to get those things cleaned up. So far, we was able to get about 3 of those ditches really cleaned up. That part of the causing the problem with the drainage problem we have as well. So I really would like to, work on getting our city beautified with the blight, the houses that's dilapidated, and really work on beautifying our city because.
Thank you very much. I have to cut you off at that point. Next, Mr. Shabazz.
Thank you. My first point would be first issue that's pertaining to our community of the 5th district is public safety, drainage, and affordable housing. The public safety, I'm in support of allocating more funding to Chatham County Police to fill in for the shortfalls as a result of the demerger in Chatham County, and we urge all levels of government to also participate in alleviating this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. And the final candidate answering this question tonight is Angela Washington.
We need much needed resources in this district. We are lacking behind other districts. Again, we are the only one without a library. No one in the 35 years that SPLOST dollars have been collected, we have not had a commissioner bring a library here. So that's an educational disparity for us. We are one of 2 districts without a police station. That is a safety disparity for us. So we need to get these much needed resources here. We do not have parks and playgrounds for our children to go to. These are things that are necessary for our residents to have a wonderful quality of life. So we've got to bring some things here. We need community centers. I talked to a gentleman on Alpine Drive about a week ago. He said they have land set aside for a community center. They just need somebody to talk to them because no one has been talking to the residents to even find out what they need. So we need to be able to talk to our residents and find out what they need and do what we can to bring them the much needed resources that they're looking for. Because we
Thank you. Thank you very much. And now I'll toss it over to Ben.
All right, here is question number 2. With the economic difficulties related to the COVID-19 pandemic, Chatham County revenues could be below projections for many months. SPLOST revenues will certainly decline for many months, and it's likely that property tax revenues could begin declining in 2021. So the question is, how will you address these projected shortfalls? And we're going to start with Tanya Milton.
We need to build more resilient communities. We have got to look out for, in planning and making plans, we got to plan for the worst and expect the best. But we've got to build resilient communities, more of the resilient future, transportation, housing, diverse economy. I mean, what we've got is, according to the Georgia budget and policy, we have a $4 billion shortfall coming from Georgia. We have over 900,000 unemployed people. That's going to be a task. And I understand that the SPLOST money is allocated and it can't be moved around, but we're going to get creative about how we're going to completely move ourselves out of this trench that we're in now with COVID-19.
Ms. Milton, thank you. Now, next, the same question to Florence Glover. How do you address these shortfalls?
I'm going to piggyback on an idea that Brian Reese had given at one of the forums, which is using the interest that's drawn from the SPLOST, using that interest in order to use that for emergency reserves. And that way we won't be, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, and kind of have those reserves in place just through the interest that is drawn. And we need to have a reserve, an emergency reserve, for at least 2 to 3 years. So we won't come into a situation like this, be more prepared for it. And, I just love that idea that he came up with. And I think, working the 3 C's, communication, cooperation, and collaboration, working together with the elected officials, we can achieve more. And great ideas are always coming from different people as well. So I really would like to see that happen.
Ms. Glover, thank you. Same question now to Angela Washington. How would you address projected shortfalls?
One of the first things that I believe we need to do is look at the county budget line by line and see what can be removed. I've looked at the current budget and there are some items on there that I don't quite understand. Like, for instance, the county commissioners have a line item for $50,000 for catered meals. So we need to look through the budget line by line and see, first of all, what's necessary and what's not, because we need to be great stewards of our residents' tax dollars. Then we also need to look at additional sources of revenue. Property tax revenue may fall. Sales tax revenue that we've been counting on from tourism, that's definitely not going to be there. So we've got to look for additional sources of revenue in order to fund this county and make sure that we don't take anything from our residents or raise taxes. Thank you.
Ms. Washington, thank you. Same question for Yusef Shabazz now. Projected shortfalls.
I would suggest that we go through the budget line by line and see whatever type of budget cuts that we can conduct during that time. Also, find alternative sources of revenue like impact fees, container fees at the ports, impact in terms of how the port impact the community of Chatham County in terms of inconveniences. I think that container fees and impact fees should be looked at as an alternative source of revenue in that. And also budget cuts, and also those individuals who are receiving extremely high salaries. We need to look at that too, at the upper management of the county. we need to also look at that.
Mr. Shabazz, thank you. And we will wrap this question up with Tabitha Odell.
Thank you. We're already looking at budget issues. We realize that we will not have a shortfall until 2021. So when the budget comes up this year, we'll be looking. Most of the monies that are in place for this year are secure, and the county is in an excellent position credit-wise should we need to go into the market. And this is a fluid, dynamic situation. There is no set right way for this right now. And as we are moving forward, we will be doing trial and adjustment to determine what will work. But your county commission is currently looking at budget issues and allocations and preparing for 2021. So we're getting ready for it.
Tabitha Odell, thank you. Next question, over to Tina now.
Yes, this is question number 3, and it will be the final question for the night. You get 30 seconds to answer this question. So the recent city election here in Savannah was historic as voters returned very few incumbents. What's your takeaway from the dramatic outcome? And we'll begin with Angela Washington.
My takeaway is that people wanted change. They felt they were not being represented well, and they wanted change, and they were looking for people who were going to represent them and their needs. And that's why I'm running, in order to represent the citizens of District 5 and meet their needs. So that's why there was change.
Thank you. Yusuf Shabazz, your thoughts?
Yes, I thought the recent city elections were dynamic. It was also eye-opening as well. Also, it says to the rest of the voters of Chatham County that if you do your job, you don't have anything to worry about. Thank you.
Next, Florence Glover.
And you know, the people just woke up. That's all that happened. They wanted people, they want elected officials that represent them, be the voice for the people. And the last election, the last group of people that was in that position for so long, they just lost contact with the people. They're not relating with the people. The people just woke up and made a decision that they want change, and we made change through what? Voting. So more people got out and voted because they wanted change. And that's my thoughts on that.
Thank you. And Tabitha Odell, what are your thoughts?
I believe that there were several different factors that played into the changes on the city council. There was low turnout in some districts. There was high turnout in some districts. And it is an indication that things happen, things change, and it's just something that you have to address and let the people speak on their issues.
Thank you. We wrap this question with Tanya Milton.
I think that the people just ready for a change. It was interesting that the folk came out and voted as they did. We had a variety of candidates that came out, and people selected the candidates that they thought were going to represent them well. And I think that that's going to be the same thing that's going to happen in this county election. For those who don't do their job and don't show up and don't lose contact with the community, people want to change, and they're going to see change made. I asked you to come out and vote, though.
Thank you. Ben?
Now let's wrap things up with closing statements. You will also be given 30 seconds for these once you begin talking. So we are going to begin with Florence Glover. 30 seconds to you.
Hello, everyone. Again, this is Florence Glover. Florence Glover, Florence Flo, running for 5th District Chatham County Commissioner. Please, I would love to have your vote because I am a servant of the people, did it for 25 years, and I'm ready to get back to work. Let's get back to work together to make something happen positive in our community, not only in the 5th District, but all of Chatham County, because we need a change that has been needed for so many years because it's been so quiet in our community with the leadership that we've had before.
That's your time. Thank you. Now let's go to Tanya Milton. 30 seconds to you.
Well, in 2010, Mayor Otis Johnson and council appointed me as to Metropolitan Planning Commission. I've been serving there for the last 10 years. I have had, it's given me a more in-depth knowledge of the city and county government. I think that I'm more prepared now to be your county commissioner. What we do at MPC is we make recommendations to the city and to the county. So I'm actually doing the work now that the county commissioner would be doing when I'm elected.
All right, thank you for that. Now we go on to Tabitha Odell, 30 seconds.
Commissioner, I've identified problems and provided solutions through streamlining and authoring policies and procedures. It's easy for people to look on the outside and assume that they understand what's going on. But as a county commissioner, you have to be able to identify the problem and provide the solutions. So I am that person. I look forward to continuing to be your county commissioner, and I ask for your vote.
Thank you, Tabitha Odell. Now to Yusuf Shabazz, 30 seconds to wrap up your closing statement.
Yes, my name is Yusuf Shabazz. Vote Yusuf Shabazz on June 9th, 2020. And to learn more about my platform, go to yusufshabazz.com, where you can learn my platform on public safety, economic equality, social services, livable wage, criminal justice, and a better industry for all the Chatham County residents.
Yusuf Shabazz, thank you.
Thank you.
We will wrap up this segment with Angela Washington. 30 seconds to you.
Southern and WSAV for this forum. District 5, if you want positive change for our district, resources brought to our district, reliable communication from your commissioner, action and not just talk, I ask you to vote for me, Angela Washington. I will be your advocate. I am accessible. I will be accountable and available to every resident of the 5th. I'm asking you to vote for me on June 9th or by absentee ballot. You can find me on Facebook at Angela for Commissioner, or call me at 912-341-7605. I would be delighted to talk to you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Washington. Thank you to all of our District 5 candidates for joining us for this bit unusual forum, but I think we kind of got the job done. You got to get your platforms out there tonight. Don't take it personally, but just like the segments before you, we're going to abruptly hang up on you now. This video will be available later on WSAV.com and our Facebook page if you have some folks you want to point in that direction so they can hear what you said tonight if they were unable to join us. But thanks again.